On the next episode of It's Your Business, we step out on a global mission field right here in the Upper Cumberland with Manna Global Missions. And we satisfy our sweet tooth with a delicious treat from Honest John's frozen custard. Join us right here for another incredible episode of It's Your Business.
This program was made possible by contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you.
It's Your Business with Michael Aikens is brought to you by WCTE PBS and the Tennessee Tech Center for Rural Innovation, with funding provided by the Rural Reimagine Grand Challenge and the Tennessee Rural Development Fund.
Welcome to It's Your Business. We're excited you've joined us once again as we explore the world of entrepreneurship and help encourage aspiring entrepreneurs by learning from the advice and tips from entrepreneurs and business resource professionals around the Upper Cumberland. We hope to equip you with the tools you need to make the dream of owning your own business come true and learn the ins and outs of owning your own business from the success and failures of others who have already taken that big step. It takes a lot of heart and passion to step out and devote your life to a worthy cause. And Chad Minette has proven to have that heart and passion. Seeing a need and having a desire to spread the good news of Jesus Christ to developing countries, he and his team have made it their mission to start a nonprofit to bring hope, education, and a new life to those in need, not just around the world, but right here in the Upper Cumberland as well, with Manna Global Missions. We're here in Cookeville, Tennessee, talking to Chad Minette of Manna Global Missions. Chad, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
So first things first, tell us about Manna Global Missions. What are you?
So Manna Global Missions is a missions organization. What we do is we have sites in the Dominican Republic, Costa Rica, Nicaragua, and in Cookeville. And all of what we do is focused on being the hands and feet of Jesus, discipleship, and really wanting people to know Jesus, be connected to him, and the good life that comes with being connected to him.
So let's dig down a little bit deeper. It sounds
Sure.
like you all are doing some amazing work. Tell us, what populations do you work with and what do you really actually do?
So in the Dominican Republic, we work with what would be the local social services for children who are in abusive or abandonment situations, to give them housing, things like that. From that age all the way up to kids in high school to do after-school programs. And in college, we have a scholarship program that gives the opportunity for people who wouldn't have the opportunity otherwise to continue their education. We have church plants in the Dominican, and so really it's for all ages there. And all of those things, from a children's home to after-school programs to scholarship, those are just vehicles that we use to get to know people and help further them on their journey of life. In Costa Rica and Nicaragua, we have church plants there. Also, they do some English as a second language ESL programs. Here in Cookeville, we started a Hispanic community center called El Puente. And the reason we started El Puente was when my wife and I and some of our other team members lived in the Dominican Republic, which is one of the sites that Manna works for. And we have another guy that works on our team here. He's from Nicaragua. And whenever we moved back to the States, after being on the mission field, we wanted to get involved with the Hispanic community here. There are a lot of Spanish speakers here. We speak Spanish. We have a heart for that community that was developed living overseas. So we went to Jerry Whitson and asked if we could do anything to help. And so we got on their translating list. We got connected with a community ESL group that started teaching ESL classes on Tuesdays at Jerry Whitson Elementary. And as we were getting to know people through teaching English, again, English just became a vehicle to get to know people. And what we got to realize is English is a big need. They want to be able to communicate and in the world that they live in, but there were so many more things that they were expressing that they need. connection to all kinds of resources, even just as simple as like, can I be your friend? And we got that question, I just need somebody to be my friend. There was a lady that was coming to ESL classes, and she had moved to the States right before COVID hit real hard in the States. And she was pregnant and had a child, didn't speak a lot of English, so she was coming to English classes, and English was a need, but she really just needed to be connected with other people. Obviously COVID made that really, really hard, and so that season was a hard one for her. And so we started the community center because yes, we want to continue to be a part of teaching them English, but there's so many other resources that they need.
Now, so you've been doing this for a few years with El Puente. You know, you mentioned COVID earlier. Obviously, that was difficult for everybody. And actually, that's where this show came from, is we started during the pandemic.
Sure.
Let's think back to that time. How did you all manage and really get through COVID and help your constituents with that too?
Well, COVID was obviously hard. And El Puente really started after that, but we had started the English classes before that. And what we found even with the English classes through COVID was, people just wanted to be connected to people. I think we all knew before, but learned even more so, like, we just need to be connected to people. In the Dominican and Nicaragua and Costa Rica, it hit them hard too. And we weren't able to go and be with them. We travel a lot to go visit those sites, and we couldn't do that. So yeah, COVID was tough for everybody.
Well, you're doing all this international outreach, and what an amazing work you're doing.
Thank you.
Tell me, Cookeville, how did you get here? And also, why Cookeville? You could do this anywhere else in an urban market, but you're here.
Sure. Why? My wife is from Cookeville, and we have Manna has a lot of supporters that are in the Southeast. So we wanted to get a little bit closer to a lot of our supporters. My wife's family is here. And as we were starting our family, Cookeville was home for her. And so now it's become home for all of us. We didn't move here because there was a big Hispanic population. We didn't necessarily know that at the time, but we became aware of that pretty quickly once we moved here. There are a lot of bigger cities in Chattanooga and Memphis and Nashville that have community centers like this that help the Hispanic community reach resources that they would need. And while there are a lot of resources available to them, there was no specific hub for that specific community here in Cookeville. And so that's why Cookeville has been a great place for us to really dig deep into that specific population and try to help them. And I think we have a niche there, and we can build some trust, and specifically here in Cookeville.
So you're doing so much great work, and a lot of that, I would say, is based on leadership, specifically from you, from Jill, your wife, and everybody involved. Tell me a little bit about your leadership style, and really, how do you serve?
One of the tenets that in both El Puente and Manna in general that we really want to lean into is empowerment. So when we were in the Dominican, it was all led by people from North America. And we started a school and we did all these things. And while a lot of that is important, it became very clear that we were not going to be there forever. And so we needed to empower the local community to take on leadership. So our focus really shifted for the leadership at the time there to be less involved with some of the specific details, but how do we empower? And that is hard. How do you train and empower people to be involved in something like that and let go of control? And really understand their culture and how they want to lead. And we found that true here too. We're trying to empower people to lead activities and lead resources, and giving leadership techniques and skills and training them, because a lot of them don't have that kind of a training. So a lot of our focus from the leadership does go into empowerment and training for people to take over and for their voice to be heard and them to really own it.
Well, what does it mean to you to be able to empower somebody?
One thing means I don't have to do it, and that's part of it. But to give somebody else their voice, I think what that means to us is we're letting their voice be heard. We're letting them stand on their own 2 feet. The Lord gave them gifts and power, and we're all created in the image of the Lord to reflect Him and to be His kingdom, and to give somebody else the opportunity to live that out. it means a lot to all of us. I mean, that's what we want. That's what we want to see in ourselves. That's what we want to see in other people. There's a girl in the Dominican. We started a high school. Her name is Jailene, and she came to our high school. She was a good student, just an incredible young lady, and she's now leading the campus scholarship ministry in the Dominican. And for us to have followed her from the point that she was in high school to the point for her to be able to lead, it's incredible to be able to empower her, let her run with it. And of course, like I said, I mean, there's a lot of things that she does that maybe that's not how I would have done it, but even better, because she knows those girls, she knows all of what's going on there, she knows the culture, because she is Dominican, and that she can take that forward, incredible.
Let's look to the future. What does the future hold for Manna and El Puente?
I think for Manna, we are continuing to empower leaders in the Dominican. I see that growing. We have a new leadership team there that's really taking things off and putting more resources into what we have going on in there in the Dominican, from things like counseling to teaching people, some of our kids at the children's home, like small business, like skills. So how some of them aren't going to go to college and things like that, and they're growing that whole thing. Costa Rica, Nicaragua, those are our newest overseas sites, and those are growing incredibly too, through ESL and just gaining a big community there. For El Puente, I wish I had a crystal ball to tell you what's going to happen in the future. I think that there is a chance to really, rally some of the resources for the community, for a population that's here and is a part of our community. We're looking to have a case management system where we can give more comprehensive support to families that come in, that we can point them in the right direction or help them with some specific needs that they have. We're really wanting to have some of our community members be on the board for El Puente, and to have their voice even more as a part of the community as it grows.
Well, Chad, what an amazing story. I can't thank you enough for being on the show.
Thank you very much.
If you have a sweet tooth, then do we have a treat for you? We're going to take you to beautiful Jackson County for a delicious delicacy known as frozen custard. And if you don't know what frozen custard is, and I didn't before this show, you're not alone. Come along as John Dean shares his passion for frozen custard and explains to us just exactly what this tasty concoction is and why he chose to open his very own frozen custard shop right off the square in Gainesboro, Tennessee. We're here in Gainesboro, Tennessee, talking to John Dean, owner of Honest John's Custard. John, welcome, should I say, back to the show.
Thank you, Michael. It's great to be back.
So in season 1, we went out to your business. It's called Wildwood. It's out in Granville, Tennessee. Now you've got another business, Honest John's, right here in Gainesboro on the square. Tell us about it.
We are a block off the town square in beautiful Gainesboro, Tennessee, serving fresh frozen custard. I got this idea when I was 8 years old, and I went to visit my sister in Virginia and found Carl's frozen custard, and I was so enamored by the process and the product that it stuck with me all these years, and now we have a chance to bring it to Jackson County, so we're really excited for that.
Well, we're sitting out here. There's obviously so much traffic up and down this rural road. Tell us a little bit about how you're capitalizing on that.
Well, this was the main state highway back in the day that everyone had to go through in order to get anything done in commerce. And it kind of died a slow death when the interstate got built. And this was bypassed. And that led to the shuttering of all the businesses around the square. And so that is all coming back. Why? Because people love small towns, and they love the charm of what we have to offer in a town square environment like Gainesboro. And we're going to give them a fantastic experience and life memory in return for them going a little bit out of their way off the interstate to visit us. And I think they're coming.
Well, I gotta ask you, frozen custard, is that not just ice cream? What's the difference?
Well, it's a good question. Frozen custard is FDA approved ice cream. It has 10% butter fat, which meets a threshold for ice cream, but it's different from premium ice cream in a couple of key respects. Number one, it's 10% air mixed in. Classic ice cream, traditional ice cream, even premium ice cream, 30 to 40% air. So a big difference in the air content, which makes it very creamy and dense. It also melts slower in hot weather, which is nice.
Well, you know, you talk about your life experience. You experienced this when you were 8.
Yes.
Now, fast forward, you've done all kinds of interesting things to lead you to this spot. Tell me a little bit about your entrepreneurial journey.
I have had the opportunity to start a number of businesses. My first career was in healthcare, and I was working primarily at the hospital-physician relationship, at the intersection of hospitals and physicians, if you will, in major medical systems across the United States, and had a fantastic experience. And even in that experience, was involved in starting over 50 businesses around the country related to physician services, hospital services, and joint ventures and those kinds of things. So the idea of starting a business sort of has gotten into my blood. When my wife and I retired and started Wildwood Resort and Marina in Granville, that was a big opportunity for us to test out those skills. And now we're in our 6th year and the organization's thriving and guests are loving it. So I was across the street here at the future Miss Sally's Market, which is a business my wife is starting, fresh food grocery business. And I was looking at this facility, which was a defunct cable TV operation. And it had a small deck on the front and 7 parking spaces here in front. And I just looked at that and it spoke to me, frozen custard. All I need are 2 of those windows, you know, that open and close 1,000 times a day without breaking, a longer deck, a couple of pieces of outdoor furniture, and we are, if I can figure out how to source good custard, we're in business.
So you got this idea. I mean, you've been owning businesses, like you said, for quite a while now. You know, you went from medical to resort, now frozen custard. And I'm willing to bet that there's a lot of things you've picked up on the way that have really transferred skills. So what have you learned from the medical industry? What have you learned from the resort industry? And how have you really been able to integrate that into frozen custard?
Well, beyond the basics of financial literacy and the ability to read a balance sheet and an income statement, which is sort of a business's business concept, all the businesses have those. The passion that we have driven through our businesses has been the customer experience. How is it that we're going to create an awesome moment in the lives of the people that choose us that'll be memorable for life? And so at Wildwood, it's maybe a weekend getaway, it may be a wedding, a family reunion, or a corporate retreat. And here, it's frozen custard, and fascinating, like you, Michael, half our customers have never experienced it before in their life. So we're creating a memory right there.
When we talked to you on season 1, you had told us about how you came from Nashville, an urban environment, and really fell in love with Granville. Same thing with Gainesboro. I'm willing to bet there is a reason that you stayed in a rural area. I mean, you could do this anywhere, couldn't you?
Well, the reason is that we can make a big difference here. And, you know, we get thanked a lot by Jackson Countyans for bringing business, employment, tax revenue into the county. And we're sitting here 12 miles from Granville, where Wildwood is, a 20-minute drive at the county seat, beautiful Capitol building there. And this is a place that's about to go through a renewal. And as early as 3 years ago, all the shops around the square were shuttered. It was basically storage units for the owners. And now it's alive. We have 3 restaurants. So we're really kind of becoming a foodie town. When Natasha opens Miss Sally's Market at the end of this month, we're going to see a whole new dimension of grocery store opportunity for people to take home foods that'll make their dinner exciting. And then frozen custard just seemed like a nice complement to that.
So what does it make you feel like to be a part of this revitalization?
The vision for Honest John's Frozen Custard is to be the joy. We are all about administering joy in the lives of our guests, because it's just a fantastic, joyous moment when you taste that frozen custard.
Before I get to try this custard, I'd love to talk to your general manager.
Absolutely. Sydney Allen, let me introduce you.
First of all, welcome to the show. Second of all, John talked a little bit about the differences in ice cream and custard. Now, I'm willing to bet you know a lot about custard, so walk me through, what is the process of actually making it?
So we start with the basic mix. It comes in just unflavored, or we have the chocolate mix, but we have a special little secret recipe that I'm not going to tell you about that makes it just unique to Honest John's here in Gainesboro. But we mix that all together, get it whisked up real nice, and then we pour it into our, John calls it the Cadillac of custard machines. We have a great machine, we called her Bertha, but we pour that into the top, and she spits out after about 10 minutes of turning in there, freezes it up real good, starts spitting out in this beautiful ribbon of custard. It's gonna come down into that bucket, and that's where we're gonna scoop out your favorite treats from.
And that's where all the goodness starts.
That's right.
So as a general manager, I think that not only making custard, I think that's more importantly, you know, you're managing the employees, you're managing the financials. What does it mean to you to be able to manage something like this?
It means a lot. So before here, I was more in a corporate society, and I had about 50 individuals that I supervised, where here I only have 8. So that means I get to know more about them. I get to spend quality time with them. It's awesome to be somewhere local also, because that's where my passion is in the small towns where these people's hearts are, and making a difference.
Well, you know, you talk about making a difference, and I couldn't agree more. And, you know, something that John mentioned earlier was talking about the workforce. And, you know, you just said that, you know, you went from 50 to 8 and you're able to give them a little bit more personalized attention. You know, why is it so important to give them that attention?
So here we're dealing with younger students, usually high school students. So this may be their first job for most of them. And it's being able to take that time where I can give them more chances, say, hey, maybe we didn't do this the best way we could, this is how we can move forward. Where in a bigger setting, we might just have to cut ties, which that's never a fun thing to do. So being here and being able to be more of a guide rather than just an enforcer is a great experience.
And that's really setting them up for their lives and work of the future too.
Right.
So it's got to make you feel great to be able to do that. So moving forward, we're looking at the future of Honest John's. Where do you see that going, and where do you see fitting into it?
So I believe John Dean can do anything that he wants to do. So if he decides that he wants an entire fleet of Honest John's, I don't doubt for a second that he can do that, and I'll be right there with him to help him lead the way. But if he wants this to be the one and only, then I'm happy to stay right here and assist in whatever business ventures he has here.
Well, Sydney, thank you so much for taking time out of your very busy schedule. I love talking to you today. I really appreciate you being on the show.
Thanks for having me.
I'm Mindy Trammell, Loan Officer in Economic Development at the Upper Cumberland Development District. Finding funding for your business can be complicated and confusing. The Upper Cumberland Development District partners with the Tennessee Small Business Development Center to help guide you through the loan process. We also work with regional partners, such as USDA and local banks, to help you find the right financing for your business. When traditional funding sources don't fit your needs, the Upper Cumberland Development District is here to step in and assist in financing your project. We operate a revolving loan fund in-house to provide gap financing to small businesses in the Upper Cumberland. With a focus on job creation and growth in the region, we can lend to almost any type of business. Our business development loan program consists of our more traditional small business loans. The loan amounts typically average between $250,000 and $500,000, with a maximum loan amount of $1 million and terms ranging from 5 to 20 years. Our microloan program was created for new startups or businesses open less than a year. Microloan amounts can go up to $30,000 with a maximum term of 5 years. These are a great option for new business owners who need a little capital to get their ideas off the ground. Microloan applicants must also be working with one of the small business experts at the Biz Foundry or Tennessee Small Business Development Center to apply. In addition to our small business loans, we also have a farm loan program created to provide low-cost financing for a portion of the cost of machinery and equipment purchases for farm and agribusiness in the Upper Cumberland. Loan amounts go up to $25,000 with terms up to 7 years, and applicants must be engaged in general agricultural production, agritourism, or generate area farm income. Whatever your needs are as a business owner, the Upper Cumberland Development District is here to connect you to any of our resources to help ensure your success. The Upper Cumberland is a great place to live and work, and it's people like you that help make it even better.
Thank you so much for joining us, and we hope that you've learned that entrepreneurship doesn't have to be a scary venture when you have the necessary resources for success at your fingertips. If you'd like more information on today's topics, please visit the WCTE website. To learn more about free small business resources and expert assistance, visit the Business Resource Collective website. Until next time, I'm Michael Aikens.
It's Your Business with Michael Aikens is brought to you by WCTE PBS and the Tennessee Tech Center for Rural Innovation, with funding provided by the Rural Reimagine Grand Challenge and the Tennessee Rural Development Fund.
This program was made possible by contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you.